Here's a segment from a recent Gun Talk radio episode. You can listen to all the Gun Talk radio podcasts however you tune in, or check out guntalk.com for more. The old squirrel master himself, Chris Ellis from Timney Triggers. How you doing, partner?
Hey, I'm fantastic, Tom. Appreciate you having me on this morning.
Oh, you bet. All right, so I got to tell you, true story. Yesterday, I'm with a buddy, and we're looking at several different ARs, and one that he built up, and he hands it to me. And, what do we do? First thing we do, we check the action, and then we kind of have the feel, and then we got to check the trigger. We pull the trigger. And I pulled the trigger on it, and it's like, I tried several of them. They were okay. And this one went, ooh, that's nice. I looked over at him, and all he said was, it's a Timney. I am not making this up.
Boy. Perfect. That is fantastic.
I'm telling you. And then I contacted you this week. I said, I need 4 triggers for Remington 700s. I am done. I've been tinkering with some of my older ones, and I had a couple of them unloaded, but had the striker fire, basically go down when I'm working the action. I said, it's just, I know better. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to replace the triggers on all my Remington 700s. And so I'm putting in the Timneys and everything.
Well, you know a guy, Tom, so you might have a connection there. If you have any questions about triggers.
But the thing is, everybody knows the guy because anybody can contact Timney and get triggers sent to them directly to their house. So, I mean, it's as easy for anybody else as it is for me.
That's absolutely, yeah. I was thinking the other day, and I may be off, but I don't think I am. I think the 700 came out about 1962, and I was going through some old archives. We're a 75-year-old company. I was going through some old archives the other day, and we were asked by our customers in about 1965 to start making a replacement trigger for the Model 700. So we've been at it for a while, no doubt about that. Yeah,
you have. I mean, and you make, for these old guns, and I'm kind of a sucker for some of the old guns and a lot of the old calibers. I got that one's a 270 I just picked up. I've got 257 Roberts. I got some, weird old stuff. You didn't even hear, but I just bought a 41 Magnum this week. I went, okay, that's just nuts, but I like it. Goofy stuff. So anyway.
Well, I mean, that's how Timney was founded, was just people, right around World War II, if you know your history or something, 1946, people were coming back. We just won a war. They were excited. So they wanted to take their military rifles, the rifles they carried in service, and they were proud of them. They wanted to, be honest with you, they wanted to go deer hunting. And one of the first things they knew that, to become more accurate with that platform was they better start looking at trigger options. And that's how Timney was born.
Those old military triggers, yeah. I mean, they were sure, but you're basically yanking them on the battlefield, but that's not what you want to be doing when you're deer hunting. So that's what you ended up with. The other thing, I'm just going to say that, look, for those who may not know, there's a history with the Remington 700s, and it's pretty well documented. There can be, not always, but can be safety issues there. And I've just decided, this is me personally, okay, this is not Timney talking, okay, I'm taking you off of this one, Chris. This is me talking.
Thank you.
I just decided that I am not going to expose myself to that risk any longer. It would be foolish, knowing what I know, to do that. So I'm pulling the factory triggers. Actually, one of them is a Canjar, which was a good company way back then, but they were finicky, and I'm just putting Timneys in everything. That's just me, okay? All right, I'll let you back in here, Greta. I didn't want people to say, well, the guy for...
I appreciate that. I was going to say, as hunters and competitive shooters and that kind of stuff, if there's something out there that can elevate that platform and make you more accurate, I think, most of us in that camp would be like, yeah, let's save some pennies and figure out what the best way to do that. And if replacing the trigger elevates the platform and it makes you more accurate, absolutely. That's easy. We can fix that.
Yeah, and it makes it more fun to shoot. I mean, and that kind of transitions us perfectly to what you guys did this week. You got a new trigger for, frankly, I'm just going to tell you, one of my very favorite pistols of all time. I am a huge fan of the Smith & Wesson M&P platform.
Well, thank you. We are too. So we were listening, obviously we've been around for so long by listening to our customers. We came out with an Alpha series last year for competition, handguns, first time we'd ever been in the handgun market. Listen to our customers. We came out with the first one was a Gen 3.4 for a Glock, and then shortly, about a month and a half later, we came out with the Gen 5, and listened to our customers. They wanted an Alpha competition for that Smith & Wesson M&P, so we got Calvin and his team looking at that and engineering it, and we got really, really close. We did our internal beta test and external and stuff, and then I got to scratching my head thinking, man, who in the world out there, who do we know out there that might know a little something about this? So we contacted a good friend of mine and sent him a pretty daggone close production, but it was a prototype, and said, what do you think? What do you think about that? And Jerry helped us with a video that's just been fantastic. So, you know, it is an honor to me to be able to, after all these years of being in you know, you and I and people in the firearms industry, we get to do some pretty cool things. I mean, it's just, just fact.
When you get to hang out with Jerry Mitchell, look, that's about as good as it gets.
Right. So I was honored, and I was kind of, you know, I'm a little bit nervous Nelly anyhow, and I was like, man, I hope he likes this trigger, and I hope it, you know, so he helped us out tremendously and made a couple of tweaks, and yeah, it's been fun, and I talked to him quite a bit, and you know, he is in a different league. He's in a league of his own. Let's just call it that. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer.
He's up there in the stratosphere and doing stuff that most of us can't even imagine. And people know him as a shooter, but I know, and you know the deal. Most competitive shooters are this way. He's a tinkerer and an improver and a tweaker, and he just kind of works on this stuff. He'll take a trigger and work on it. So I imagine when you sent him the trigger, he probably still had some suggestions for you.
Oh, absolutely. And yes, I mean, like I said, you can't talk to a marathon runner if you've never tied on a pair of running shoes. Well, we only do one thing. We build triggers, right? And I was like, oh, my gosh, you know, this is kind of – so it was an honor to work with him. Calvin and I went down to his shop and talked to him quite a bit, did a little bit of tinkering around. And for someone that loves guns and been in the gun industry, it was one of the top days in my career. Is just I'm hanging in Jerry's shop talking nothing but triggers. With Calvin, who's engineered our triggers for the last 17, 18 years. It was just really, really special. Now, one of those great, great days, you know.
I was looking on your website. You got a video with Jerry, and you also got like a 14.5-minute video on how to install the trigger in an M&P in great detail. So you kind of make it, well, I was going to say easy and simple. I mean, for everybody except for me, because, you know, you wouldn't want me picking up a tool. But other than that, it'd be okay.
Yeah, so here's the thing. So we get all these requests in. It's still got to do, you know, the stakeholders of Timney. Number one, does it elevate that platform? Does a trigger help that platform? If that checks yes, boom, great. Then is it simple to install? You know, and you and I both know. I mean, the first time you do a gas grill, it's really hard. The second time you do one, you're like, okay, I got this. So it has to be relatively easy to install with kitchen table type tools. That's probably not a good term, but you get the idea. I mean, you've got to be a normal person that feels like they, you know, and then we do great installation instructions. And the next thing it's got to do is it's got to drop it in that pull weight, you know, that pull weight that Timney's famous for, that 3 pounds, 3.5 pounds, got to be dead nuts crisp. But most importantly, it's got to be able to elevate that platform. And that's one thing that has been so much fun work with Timney all these years is you look at all the different guns out there and then you think, okay, would a trigger make that the shooter experience or make that shooter smile, hunter, competition, blinker? Would it just make it more fun? So if you think about, you know, elevating something to make it fun, that's a kind of a neat little business model, you know.
All right, let me jump on some of the stuff here. This thing's got 3-pound trigger weight. This is for the Smith & Wesson M&P, Gen 1, Gen 2.
Yep.
Teflon nickel sear and safety plunger, which pretty much eliminates any need for anything. It just makes it super smooth. Don't have to lube it or anything. You got a straight trigger, aluminum trigger, and you're going to use your stock parts in there. But I want to let people know this does not work on the shield. It is for the M&P Gen 1 and Gen 2, but not the shield, right?
That's correct. Yeah, we're, you know, for us, it's competition shooting, it's plinking, it's hunting. So things that we think that can really, really help accuracy, we want to be there. Not saying we won't cross that line somewhere further down the line, but right now, Timney's model 2022 is elevating that platform by hunting, shooting, and blinking and competition. So yeah, we're looking at competition series now, but you know, if Tom. All we do is triggers. So if there's I tell people this all the time, if there's a trigger out there, I mean, if it's a WD-40 can or a squirt gun or whatever, we're looking at it. I promise you. That's the only thing we do is triggers. So.
All right. And this one's available now, right?
Absolutely, 100% available now. You can go to our website, timneytriggers.com. You can look at Jerry's video. You can look at installation. You can get installation instruction videos. Take a look at it. If it's something that you're interested in, give us a call, give us a ring. We'll walk you through it.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I love the M&P platform. I have recommended it to so many friends, and now the chance to make it even better. I'm all on board on that thing. Chris Ellis, thank you so much for your time, sir.